Hey guys, how you doing? Here showing you how to replace a window regulator on a 2007 Honda Pilot. The tools you'll need for this job are a flathead screwdriver, a Phillips screwdriver, a 10mm socket, a roll of tape, and obviously you'll need a new window regulator. Now I can only find one locally that had the motor attached. You may be able to find just the regulator itself if that's all you need, but for ease of installation I recommend just buying the entire unit like this, because you can just unbolt the old one and bolt the new one in. As you can see, I already have the door panel off here. This particular regulator, the actual cable snapped and the window fell down into the door, so I went on ahead and took off the door panel, and I'll show you how to do that. Coming over here to the door panel, you will notice that when you first are looking at it, you will need to take off a screw that is right here underneath this hole right here. There's a Phillips head screw in there. You need to go ahead, and I use a long Phillips screwdriver and remove that screw that's out of there. And then the next thing you'll need to do is to go to the door handle, and I'll show you over here. On the door handle itself, behind the door handle, there's a little door in there. I don't know if the camera will focus on it, but you can see there's a little access panel in there. If you take a flathead screwdriver or a pick or something, you can go on ahead and pop that off, and then there will be a Phillips head screw back there, and that will go on ahead and loosen up the door handle. After the door handle is loose, you'll notice that there is a small green clip right here. All you need to do is take and push that towards the door, and it will pop off of that metal rod. Then you can go on ahead and pull the door handle off. I just put it back on so I can open and close the door for now. So again, the one little screw that is under here, and then you can go ahead and take off the door handle. Hey guys, I forgot to mention this. There is a screw that is holding on the door panel that is underneath the window switch. If you were to take a flathead screwdriver and stick it right into the crevices here around the window switch and just pry up on the window switch gently, careful not to break your window switch. The window switch will come out, and then you can disconnect the connector there. I did receive this car with the door panel already off, so I apologize. I did not know that there was another screw under here. You can see there's a screw hole right there. Let me see if I can get to focus on it. There's a screw that goes right here down in this hole right here. Right there in that hole. You need to go on ahead and take that off also. So there's that one screw, remember? There's a screw right there on the bottom. And then there are the two screws that are behind the door handle. So those 4 screws need to come out before you can pop the door panel off of the door. After that, you would begin starting at the bottom of the door panel. Take your flathead screwdriver and stick it up inside the door and pry the door panel away from the door. And then once you get a few of the clips loose, you can go ahead and stick your hand in there and just pull the door panel towards you off of the door. Then after that, it should be very loose on the top. You will go ahead and just pull straight up off of the door, and then your door panel will be off. So after you have done that, you can go ahead and move your way back to the door panel, and you'll be looking at something that looks just like this here. You got the white vapor barrier, you have your speaker, and you will have your, oh excuse me, don't forget to connect your disconnect your power wire here for your window switch. You'll do that when you pull the door panel off, you'll see. But the next thing you will need to do is to remove the 3 screws that hold on the speaker. You can see 1, 2, 3. After you take those off, I've already gotten them loosened up, so you can take those 3 screws off, and behind there will be 1 small connector, you would just squeeze the tabs and pull the connector off. That way you can take the speaker out. After you've done that, you can go on ahead and remove this. Well, you don't have to remove it entirely, but you can go ahead and peel back the vapor barrier. It doesn't really matter where you start at. I'd advise starting on the bottom though, because most of the screws you're dealing with are on the bottom of the door. So go on ahead and peel that away, and then I like to just use tape and hold it up somewhere so it doesn't fall down on your face again. But I'm going to go ahead and do that now. Okay, I've got the barrier off. As you can see, I just got it taped up there to the door frame. Now chances are your cable broke, and in this case, I mean, it could have broken or not, maybe it just doesn't work. But if your window is down in the door, like you can see my glass is here inside the door, you need to stick your hand inside the door and grab the glass so that you can move it up enough to loosen the two 10mm bolts that hold the glass to the regulator. Now you can see these two holes right here, this hole and this hole. When you raise the glass up, you'll see you need to get it aligned to where you can see a 10mm here and a 10mm here. Those are the two bolts that are holding the glass to the regulator. Let me see if I can show you what I'm talking about here. If I stick my hand in here and just slowly raise the glass up to where you can see there's a 10mm right there, and then there's also a 10mm right there. So if you need to tape the glass right here to hold it, or if you have someone to hold it for you, go ahead and loosen and take those bolts completely out. Make sure you try not to drop them into the door. I'm just going to hold it with my hand and loosen them up myself while I'm holding the glass. So I will go ahead and do that now. Okay, after you have loosened those two screws up and taken them out, you will need to push the glass all the way back up in the door, as you can see I have here, and you need to use your piece of tape to tape it up. That way it doesn't fall back down. You can see I got a piece of tape right there holding it on, just to keep the window up in the door. I use one piece of tape. You can use two pieces of tape, or however many you feel to be safe. Now at this point, you can go on ahead and disconnect the connector for the window motor. The window motor is over here. This brown wire right here will come out. It actually connects to the door right here. I went on ahead and used a flathead screwdriver to pop this out, and it connects right here also, and I use a flathead screwdriver to pop that out. You need to go, this is the connector for it. Go on ahead and disconnect it because you'll be pulling it out through that hole. And then you can go on ahead and now loosen up all the bolts that hold on the regulator and the motor. So you will be taking out this bolt right here. Take it completely out. This bolt and this bolt you can just loosen up enough to where you can move the motor around in the door. As you can see, they're able to slide up and out of the bigger hole. So those three right there. Also, those two right here on the bottom of the door, you need to loosen and take those out completely. And then as you can see, I had to move the barrier around enough to get to the other two screws that are on top of the door. This screw right here is right on top of the door handle. You need to take that out completely. And then the other one is hiding. Here you go. I'll back up for reference so you can see what I'm working with here. You can see if you push this up here, you'll see that there's another gold screw right there. You can go ahead and loosen that one up as well. You do not have to take it out. You can if you want, but you can just loosen it up so you can slide it up out of. The right one over here, you need to actually take out. So as you'll notice, the screws that are silver need to come out completely. These two, this one right here, and then the one by the door handle. The ones that are gold, they can stay in so that you can slide it up out of there. So you can go on ahead and do that now, as I will. Okay, after you've loosened up those screws, you will notice that you need to disconnect one little plastic clip that's holding on the cable on. It's right here in this tiny little hole right here, right underneath the door handle. There's a plastic clip. I just use my flathead screwdriver to push up the little tab on the bottom and to push down the little tab on the top, and then the whole regulator will be loose. So after you have removed the screws, which I already have, and I've stuck my hand inside the door and lifted up the motor in order to slide the gold screws out, you'll notice that that little plastic clip is the only thing holding on the regulator to the door. So after you've taken that clip off, you can go ahead and just maneuver the regulator out of this big opening here on the side. So I'll go ahead and take that out now. Okay, once you have taken your old regulator and maneuvered it out of the big hole on the left, you can go ahead and maneuver your new regulator and motor into place, and go on ahead and locate all the screws where they need to go. I've already gone on ahead and put the screws back in to where they were. Remember the two bottom ones here, the ones on the top, the one right there by the door handle, and the one on the left, and then the three that locate the motor. Don't forget to stick the power wire into the hole there for the connector over here. Don't forget to do that. If your regulator was like mine, the power cord, if you stick it through the hole, was a little bit short. It was taped to the top of this metal motor here. I went on ahead and just took the tape off, and then that allowed me to get the extra distance that I needed for the wire. So you can go on ahead and tighten up all those screws, and then the next thing you would need to do is to take your window switch out of your door panel. As you can see, I took it out and I have it right here. When you're looking at your door panel underneath, there's these little tabs right here that hold it into the door. You can just squeeze them with your fingers and then pull the whole switch out, because you need to be able to reconnect your switch back to the connector so that you can lower down the window regulator to where those two holes are lined up here in these two holes. If you remember from the beginning of the video, you will want to lower the regulator to where you can see the two holes in the spot. Now fortunately for my regulator, right when I installed it, the two holes are magically lined up already. This may not be the case for yours. That's why I'm telling you to get your window switch so that you can lower it down if you need to. So I'm going to go ahead and take the tape off of the glass from the door. Make sure you hold the glass so it doesn't fall down, and then you can just lower the glass slowly back down into the door so that you can line up the tabs on the glass with the two tabs that are on the regulator. Then you can stick your two 10mm bolts right back in. So I'm going to do that now. Okay, I got the two bolts lined back up and back into place on the glass. You can see right inside the hole there's one 10mm, and then the other 10mm is in the other hole. As I said before, once you lower the glass down, it will just fall right down onto the regulator there to where those two holes will just line up. And you can go on ahead and tighten those up. Make sure all the other bolts are tightened up as well. Then the next thing you want to do is to untape your vapor barrier here and go ahead and lower it down and, you know, put it back into the position it was. Don't forget to bring the power wire for the power window switch. Don't forget to stick that through the vapor barrier so that you can reconnect your window. So after you put the vapor barrier back down, you can go on ahead and reinstall your speaker with the 3 screws and reconnect the connector there. And then pretty much putting it back together is the same way as you took it apart. Put the speaker on, then you go on ahead and reinstall the door panel, snap everything back on. So I'm not going to go into that, because if you've got this far, I'm pretty sure you can put the door panel back on. But yeah, I hope that this video was helpful for you. I apologize that I had to make so many breaks in the video and cuts and splits, but you know, just me not having my tripod today. This is the best way I could do it. So it's a pretty straightforward process, and I hope this helped you out. If you like the video, please hit the like button, and if you would like to see more content on any automotive repair, please feel free to hit the subscribe button. As I mentioned before, I'll be having a giveaway coming up when I hit 200 subscribers. I'm at about 175 now. Thanks to all you guys who have been, watching my videos faithfully. It really means a lot to me. So I'm going to go on ahead and end with that. You guys have a good one.